Hello, my darlings. Are you ready for a fun story? And with that story, we're going to make some chicken cacciatore. And the chicken cacciatore is actually kind of one of those 6 degrees part of the story. So, what my story is about is something that happened to me, which possibly happened, but I'm not real sure. Um, what we're going to do is determine if I date with a serial killer when I was about 15. Wow. Anyways, let's make that delicious chicken cacciatore, shall we? Have I ever had chicken cacciatore? No. Have I made chicken cacciatore? No. Um, didn't really like the recipe, to be honest. There were a couple things I was like, ew, no, I'm not gonna do that. But let's take a look. Let's see what we're gonna add to this dish. You can just smell that onion, can't you? And the garlic. But anyways, this is what we've got going here. We are going to take 6 chicken thighs. The recipe called for skinless. I'm a rebel. I'm leaving the skin on. Then we've got 1/2 medium onion, chopped. 1 medium to large carrot, chopped. And it called for pepper. A red pepper, I think. Maybe a green pepper. But pepper, meh. My family doesn't do them. So I've got 1 medium zucchini sliced, chopped. Cut them however the hell you want to cut them. It doesn't matter. They're going to digest. 1 tablespoon of butter. 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Or you can use white wine, dry white wine. That's my beautiful garlic. I got my cloves from. And we've got 1 28-ounce can, or in this case, 2 14-ounce cans of fire roasted tomatoes. We've got thyme, and this was supposed to be oregano, if you will, and didn't have it. So it's an Italian seasoning mix, so I'm not worried about not having the full tablespoon of thyme because there is thyme in this mix. So we're going to use that. And then we also have, for the final countdown, we're going to throw some pitted olives on there, chopped olives, and some basil. It did call for fresh basil, so you don't necessarily have to add that. If you do have some fresh basil and fresh parsley and want to throw that on there, go right ahead. It's your damn dish, honey. Fun fact, cacciatore, as in the chicken cacciatore that we're making, cacciatore means hunter in Italiano. Italiano. That's kind of creepy when you see where my story goes and why I chose to make chicken cacciatore. All right, so we've got the pan on, and I'm going to get my oil and olive oil and butter melting, and then we're going to dredge our chicken in the flour and saute it. Remember, it was about a tablespoon. This one I wish I should have, but this one I should have some gloves. Let's come up here. Let's talk. So, while I'm dredging and sauteing this chicken, let's get this story started. So, in the mid-'80s, when I was about 16 years old, I know what you're thinking. 16 in the 80s? Girl, how'd that work when you 29? So, 16. Young. Cute. Stupid. Yeah, kind of stupid. Weren't we all at 16 though? Not you guys though, if you're 16 watching this. Although I wouldn't know why you were watching an old woman make chicken. You know, go find a hop. But anyways, young, cute, stupid. I went on a blind date. You ever go on a blind date? I don't recommend it. And when I say I went on a blind date, you're probably thinking, oh, that's cool. Your friend set you up. You met this guy somewhere. Oh, you're thinking, oh, that's fun. Your friend set you up, didn't they? No. Your girl crazy. I was crazy back then. I was kind of a punk rocker. No, it's hard to tell. You got chicken in there to cook. I got an obscene phone call. Yeah. One of those kind of obscene phone calls. No, it wasn't dirty. He just was like, hello. I was like, hello. And, you know, me, boy crazy, young. He sounded cute. And I was like, oh. He talked to this strange man that just called me for no reason. Chicken, 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 chicken. So, and just so you're wondering why I haven't told anyone this story sooner. Well, I have some people, like, in my life, but I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I know that's probably hard to imagine someone with trauma in their life. But here lately I've been going back through memories, you know, trying to pull that stuff out, trying to get it cleared out, trying to get me healthy mentally. And then this came up. Some deep shizzles in there. Deep shizzle. I don't know if I'm ready for it. But this was one of the memories that dragged out. We got one last chicken. Go in there. You going in there. So yeah, doing some of that mental hoard cleaning. And this one is deep. Deep. So for the younger people, if I've got younger people watching me, just so you know, in those days, back in the 80s, you know, like the classic time, we didn't have cell phones. Well, I mean, you could get a cell phone. Motorola was a brand that had a cell phone. You could also get like a satellite phone. But yeah, they were big. They were like this big box thing. They were like real super expensive. I think like $1,500, $2,000. Like today's phones don't cost that. All right. So once you've got your chicken thighs nice and brown, nice and seared, remember you don't have to cook them through. We're going to add them to the crock pot and they'll finish cooking with the rest of the goodies, the veggies. So, like I was saying about my story, because that's the important part of this video, right? Who cares about Chicken Cacciatore? Not me. All right, so I answered this call, and it was this dude. And I just started talking to him like I knew him, because I'm 16, and he's a male, and I'm kind of boy crazy. That was my birds. These are my Berbers. Did you see my Berbers? He seemed nice. We started talking. The only points of the conversation I actually remember are him telling me his name was Rick. Serial killer, Rick. 80s. Give you any indication yet? Okay. This led to me confiding in him for whatever reason that I was in love desperately with Rick Springfield. Because if you know, you know. Rick Springfield back in the day, girl. Whew. It's a huge secret. Anyways, you know, no one else knew this. No one. No one. Absolutely no one. So he picks right up on that and he says, oh, hey, that's kind of funny because people tell me that I look like Rick Springfield. I look like Rick Springfield. Oh my God! I was going to be going out with a Rick Springfield lookalike. Phooey on you. So I'm going to go ahead and move these chicken thighs to our croca di pata. Croca di pata. So like that. Again, I know they're bloody. They're not supposed to be cooked. You don't have to cook them. And to my pan, so I put this back up a little bit. I'm going to go about the medium actually, just a medium. And I left all the grease in there. I'm going to add my veggies, and I'm going to get them a sauteing. Some people just see this as grease, but you know what? That, my darling, is flavor. And I'm putting the flavor all over me. But it's not hot anymore. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. We're going to soften those a bit before we put them into the le croccapata. All right, when you've softened those a bit, then you want to toss in your garlic. And you want to brown that until it's nice and fragrant. Oh, you know this smells delicious. You know this smells delicious. All right. Oh, yeah, there's my garlic. So when you start smelling your garlic, that's what it means to cook it until it is fragrant. You can smell it, of course, as you put it in there. But the aromas, which means the flavor, will come out at that point. I'm going to add my wine and a little more wine and a little more wine. I'm just kidding. It's chicken broth. And I added half cup. See? And that's going to deglaze the bottom and get those delicious flavors. And now that that's cooked down a bit, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my crock pot, to this chicken. Turn this oven off. To this, I'm also going to add roasted tomatoes. Added all the ingredients to the crock pot with the exception of the fresh basil, fresh parsley, and olives. If you're adding those are kind of optional, and those are for plating. So we will definitely add those in at the end. And if you don't use seasonings, get on out of here. Got attacked by some fire roasted tomatoes. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, no. Just a second. I'll be right back. Now, my best friend Angie at the time was a gem. She would walk through floodwaters, fires, spiders, anything for me, and I'd do the same. We were buddies. I don't know where she is now. But she was my best friend. So she was, like I said, she was a gem. Let's turn you a little bit here while I stir. Can you see me now? Okay. And she agreed, for my safety, to go on this blind date with me. You know, dude was cool with it. He's like, oh, whatever. So Angie, this is relevant to the story. She was the class clown. She was the jokester. She is hilarious. You know, no matter the group she was in, she had everybody just hollering and laughing. She was fantastic. I imagine she's still like that. But. So Rick picks us up, okay? Angie's in the back seat. I'm up front with him. And, you know, try and be flirty. Laugh at him. He barely says anything. But he did, when he picked us up, he had sunglasses on. Now, mind you, it's pitch dark outside. Pitch black. It's like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And this guy's got sunglasses on. So here's Angie, as Angie does, making jokes about him driving with sunglasses on at night. And, you know, he's already quiet, but he seems like he's getting quieter. That's kind of scary. He drives to this pizza place. He goes to park, and when he goes to park, he drives over the divider. Over it. Like, over it. Angie says something. I wish I could remember the joke. But it was something about, hey, what's wrong with your sunglasses? Because obviously he couldn't see. After he finally parks decently, you know, he goes in, and she's like, I don't know, this guy's weird. This guy's weird, Crystal. I don't know why we're here. We should get out of here. We should go. So I'm like, oh no, it's fine. He's fine. He's just nervous. But he's cute, isn't he? It was dark. I couldn't sleep. And I still have Rick Springfield on the brain, thinking I'm on a date with Rick Springfield. Rick Springfield. So he comes back with the food. He eats. We eat. Nothing weird. He doesn't say anything. Like, even when we talk to him, it's like there's like not even responses. Maybe little grunts or whatever. Never laughs. I went my camera again. Never laughs. Never responds to Angie. Never responds to me. Nothing. So we eat, we finish, we go back home, and he's dropping us off. Angie steps out of the car, and I'm just in there with him, you know, trying to talk to him, trying to get some response out of him. He leans over and he gives me a kiss. This wasn't my first kiss, but, you know, I was still excited. It was nothing too out of hand, just a little sweet little kiss. But then he leans in and he whispers, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. That's what he says to me. And I'm just like, okay. But me, still a virgin, still kind of naive, only kissed like 2 other people in my life. So, me dumb. Oh, I don't want to hurt you either. He tells me I should go now. So I do. And I never hear from him again. Maybe it was just a weird date. Maybe it was just a weird date. But no. Oh no. Dudes. Looking back at the time frame. Ow, I just burnt my finger. But looking back, at the time frame and the details, I honestly think that I was on a blind date with the Night Stalker, Rick Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Swear to God. I don't know if I'm right. Tell me what you think. It's all very strange. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was a serial killer active in the early to mid 80s and believed to have murdered at least 13 people. Now, he's mainly active in California, but a lot of crime experts do believe that he got around. And at that time, I was in Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada. Hop, skip, and a jump. Hop, skip, and a jump. Hop, skip, and a jump. He did murder. He did admit to murdering at least 13 people. They do believe he has more victims, but I guess we'll never know. He was given the death penalty, but actually died from cancer in 2013. And his reportedly final meal served to him in the hospital the day or the night before he died. Yep. Chicken Cacciatore. So, what do you think? Did I have a blind date with a serial killer? Was my obscene phone caller that I, in all my wisdom, decided to go on a date with the Night Stalker? Did my best friend Angie save my life that night? Was her mere presence the push he needed to leave me alone? Or was it my extreme kindness and my good heart? What do you think? Tell me in comments. Let me know. Would really love to read them. I really want to know what other people think. If you think I did, or if it's just, I've always had an imagination, so maybe I just read more into it than there was. While you're here, please like, comment, and subscribe, because if I could get some subscriptions, that would really help me a lot, and I'd appreciate every single one of you. And here it is, Chicken Cacciatore, the last meal Richard Ramirez ate before he passed. Sad face, not. So here, cheers to better dates.
It's very good.
Lord, it's hot. Hotter than a wrong woman in church. Hotter than a gigolo in